Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Wednesday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill. Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. Mr. Hill, how are you?
I'm doing great. Giving the city of Chicago some love, too, so I'm actually
the Hawks,
really good.
Apparently they're terrible. I don't know anything about the Hawks, but they fired their guy that does the radio announcing or TV guy, and everybody got real cranky about that. And things are not good in Blackhawks Nation. This has been your weekly Blackhawks report here on Hunt and Hill. But lots to get to here over the next 2 hours. JD PicKell of On 3 Sports in 15 minutes. Going to talk some coaching carousel a little bit here at 1:30. Got Aaron Judge to get to. That is something that's going on.
Yeah.
Shea Dixon at 2 o'clock on recruiting. You don't want to miss that, as it is still a very, very busy time here for LSU in recruiting, even though the numbers, traditionally, if you look at this, we got a couple spots left. Not anymore. Fill that thing up as much as you can fill it up. So we'll talk to Shea about where the staff goes from here and what he's hearing as things are heating up in season. SEC Power Rankings, as usual, on Wednesday at 2:30. We'll see what Jeremy has done with his Aggies coming up at 2:30. But we start with the SEC schedule release. By now, if you watched the show last night or you paid attention on Twitter or it came up in the newspaper or you heard the morning show or Charlie talk about it, you kind of know what the schedule looks like. It starts with Florida State down there in Orlando. Come back for the homeowner against Grambling, very similar to what we just did over the last couple of weeks. Then you're at Mississippi State. I do like Mississippi State as the opener. Then you play Arkansas at home, at Ole Miss, at Missouri, Auburn, then Army, which is before Halloween in this instance on October the 21st. Then you got a bye after Army, Alabama on the road, then Florida late in the year in November, Georgia State, and then Texas A&M right after Thanksgiving. So that's how it works out. Your big picture thoughts. I've got a couple of games that stand out, and then I want to get to the big picture of the SEC schedule release, not just LSU. But when you look at that schedule, FSU in Orlando, SWAC team, Army in the middle of the season, what do you see?
Yeah, I think you definitely don't want to lose to Florida State again next year. I think you definitely don't want to do that. Start off to the
fourth year in a row we've lost the opener.
Yeah,
so
man.
let's try not to.
Yeah, let's try not to do that. But looking at the schedule as a whole, I don't think it's one of those 2019 schedules where you're playing, 6, top 5 ranked teams in the country or anything crazy like that. I feel like you win that first Florida State game, it sets up the same avenue you have this year where it's not as daunting. And I think you get that Mississippi State game early, which I love. Army don't really love the idea of it at that point in the season. I think I have to talk to some higher-ups on why they did that. But looking at the schedule as a whole, I think it's not too crazy. It's not too hard either.
Yeah, I mean, things moving around. Mississippi State traditionally has been a September game for LSU. I like that as a conference opener. Mississippi State is a very capable football program, but it's not as if you're opening up at Urban Meyer's Florida team, at Alabama. It's not. They're just a good football team. You go on the road, you get a chance to go get a win. Arkansas being moved up to September, fine. I'm indifferent about that whole thing. Ole Miss being in September is odd to me. And I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I am. The first time I walk outside at 7:45 a.m. and it's chilly outside, in my brain, for some reason, that ticks on. Oh, this is like the Ole Miss game. Like that's about where we are in the calendar. When we play Ole Miss, generally speaking, that's the first time I go outside, and there's a tinge of chill in the air in South Louisiana. And certainly, if you go up to Oxford and watch it, you go up a couple hundred miles. It's the same way up there. So to have them in September is a little bit odd. Whoever wants to go to Missouri for the first time, that's really a trip you can make because you couldn't in that year, the COVID year, and it was a hurricane, so not a great time to plan to travel at the spur of the moment. But if you haven't been to Columbia, Missouri, going up there on October 7th is going to be awesome weather. That is going to be a great trip, and I think Missouri is going to be in the middle of a coaching change, so that's okay. We like that a little bit. And then having Florida in November, I don't mind that. I don't want to play Florida every year. I don't like that that's part of the schedule. Haney's been over it a million times. I've been over it a million times. But having that game in November, I don't mind that at all. I think it's going to be it's going to be a game in a rivalry until they take it away, probably in a couple of years, that Napier and Kelly came in at the same time. So they're kind of judged as they move forward. They'll be nearing the end of year 2. you ought to kind of have it figured out in this day and age in college football with the transfer portal, with as much as rosters turnover, with unlimited signing classes, essentially. By the end of year 2, you ought to have a pretty good idea of what your program's supposed to be looking like, and to have LSU in Florida there on November the 11th, I think is a cool spot.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. I think, you have some people in Baton Rouge pushing Napier. You have some people not pushing Napier. So our eyes are going to be extremely close and following that Florida program. And I know a lot of people love that rivalry between LSU and Florida. I think it's one of those where any given Saturday, it's going to be some passionate players going against each other, and it's going to be a big-time rivalry. So, yeah, going forward, you got to enjoy these matchups. You never know how much you got to get these going forward, especially looking at Bedlam and all the things across the country with college football. So, yeah, I think in Florida in November, that's a change-up after Alabama. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a big-time game for the Tigers.
And then this has nothing to do with yesterday, but because it's been scheduled for a long, long time, I don't like at all where Army falls in the schedule. I don't want Army on the schedule at all. I don't think LSU is in danger of losing the game. I just don't like uprooting your entire football program in the middle of October and aborting everything you've worked on all year to go handle the triple option. I love the Army. Like, that's a wonderful institution that does great things for our nation. In terms of football only, I don't need to play the game. If you're going to play it the first week of the season and get on with it. But unless you're playing Paul Johnson's Georgia Tech team the next week and you just want to get a test run, I got no interest in playing a team that's going to run the triple option. I don't want it.
Yeah, I remember we played in that bowl game against Georgia Tech. That was a wacky offense to go against that old triple option. But, yeah, I think you're not going to get much in this day and age. Everyone's spreading it out. Everyone's running RPOs, and everyone wants to go fast. And this is just – I don't know how much it helps you. I guess they're trying to get a new audience, I guess. I don't know what the angle is. Like I said, I would have to talk to the higher
It's a cool thing to have the Army with their whole band and the cadets and that whole thing come in to Tiger Stadium. That is a cool aspect of it. On the field, no.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're not going to see any teams like that, especially in the SEC. You're not going to get much from it. If anything, it's – I don't know. I'm trying to give it a case to make a case of why you're doing it.
It's just a cool thing to have Army come to Baton Rouge. That's all it is. So as far as the entire league goes, one schedule that stood out to me in the SEC was Arkansas. They're going to start their season against Western Carolina in Little Rock. And they're going to go to Kent State, and they're going to play BYU. And they start a slate that's got at LSU, at Texas A&M in Arlington, at Ole Miss, and at Alabama. Their first 4 conference games are away from Fayetteville. That's not a great way to start. And then you consider the fact that from September the 23rd through November the 4th, that is over a month, they play 1 game in the state of Arkansas. That is some hefty road work for the Hogs. By the way, their SEC crossover opponent next year at Florida.
Ooh.
So this year the West is going. The East is coming to the West. You've already seen South Carolina go to Little Rock. You'll see Tennessee come here. Next year, the entire West is going to the East. So the crossovers is what I always find interesting. Alabama is going to Kentucky. You go, oh, well, Kentucky's got a pretty good program. Well, Levis is leaving. Arkansas is going to Florida. Oh, well, Richardson is leaving. A&M is going to Tennessee. Oh, Tennessee's got Hooker is leaving. Like, that just disappoints me greatly. The other ones are Auburn headed to Vanderbilt, Ole Miss headed to Georgia, Mississippi State headed to South Carolina, and LSU going to Missouri is a good draw. They're probably going to have a new coach, and they're not any good. So that's a good draw for LSU, but I'm disappointed that Alabama got a program on the rise. Arkansas got a program theoretically on the rise in Florida, and A&M got a program on the rise in Tennessee, and all 3 of them are going to have new starting quarterbacks. Maybe they'll be better, but I kind of like the guys they got right now. I kind of like them with Levis and Richardson and Hooker. So
yeah, no, that's definitely a lucky break because those are the guys that win and lose football games. And so if you're one of those programs, and obviously you're going to get the break where you don't have to play one of those guys, it definitely it's better for your programs. And so yeah, for LSU, we're going to be locked in with Florida, and we know how it shakes out with the rest of the SEC. Some of these guys aren't going to be getting the most competitive matchups, but yeah, I think looking at those quarterbacks, I would love to see some of those guys come back and try to get those guys some L's on their record.
Probably not going to happen, but maybe. I mean, I don't know who Kentucky's backup quarterback is. I don't know if they're not going to go to the transfer portal and get the quarterback from whoever. You never know, but I'm just looking at it a long way out. LSU gets a great draw in Missouri. Can't complain about that. But some of these schools, it looks like have really tough draws, and then you realize, well, maybe we're not quite sure about all that just yet. But I mean, what do you think about the SEC turning the schedule release into an hour-long TV special and doing it one at a time and rolling it out like that? I mean, would you rather just put out a press release and go get it, or do you like the drama that goes with it?
For me, I don't really care either way, but I know why they're doing it. You're in competition with the Big Ten. You're trying to keep the Big 12 off your back. Obviously, Pac-12, we know what that is, but you're trying to be the big dogs in this country, and I think they're going to try to do every little angle they can to keep more eyes on the SEC and make sure, this is always a conference that's kind of looked at, as the big dogs around the block. So, yeah, I don't love it, but, I know that's what they're going to do.
I think it's fine. I saw some people up in arms like, just get it over with. We don't want to sit through all this. Well, then don't sit through it and just look up at the end, and it'll be up there. I mean, the NFL does such a great job of staying relevant throughout the calendar. You go from the Super Bowl, and then you've got the Combine, and then you've got the draft, and you've got free agency, OTAs, schedule release. The Hall of Fame game shows up in, late July at this point. It's so early. They do a good job of staying relevant. I don't know that yesterday kept the SEC relevant, but there's some entertainment value in it. And if you don't like it, just tune in at 7. It starts at 6. You'll figure it out at 7. It's fine. That's not something that I can get all up in arms about. But I saw a bunch of that on Twitter yesterday. Like, just let us know what it is. Send out a release. Like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Look, man, we know how it is nowadays. Everyone has to find something to complain about.
Instant gratification. Yeah, that's what everyone wants.
We got to complain about it on Twitter and see how many people are upset and get some retweets. But yeah, I think for me, this is not anything crazy, man. Like they're going to put it out. They're going to want eyes on the SEC. Obviously, the TV ratings don't hurt either. So yeah, roll it out. I'm not too mad at it.
Opening hour on Wednesday brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions, your Louisiana John Deere dealer located on Airline Highway. Website is sunequip.com. You can go there, browse the inventory, order parts, get some tips for self-repair over at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Self-repair, that is a little above my pay grade, but if you're capable of repairing your own equipment, go to sunequip.com. Again, one more time, you'll get new equipment, used equipment, parts, service. You can do it all with Sunshine Quality Solutions, your Louisiana John Deere dealer. They are located on Airline Highway and bring you the opening hour each and every Wednesday here on Hunt and Hill. We'll take a time out, come back with JD PicKell of On 3 Sports. Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana loyal, elevating, celebrating champions of Louisiana. What's a champion of Louisiana? Well, LWCC is, like I said, trying to elevate and celebrate great people, great nonprofits, great entities doing great work in our great state so that our state can be as admired as it is adored. If you know a champion of Louisiana, go to lwcc.com/Louisiana Loyal and nominate them so that we can tell their story right here on Hunt and Hill like we're doing with Metamore all month long.
Yep, Metamore, an institute dedicated to the study and treatment of metabolic disease and obesity, has been celebrated by LWCC as a champion of Louisiana. Located in Baton Rouge on the campus of Pennington Biomedical, Metamore is a one-of-a-kind facility joining science, clinical research, and variety of treatment modalities under a single roof to create a world-class institute.
Metamore started right here in our state, right there at Pennington, like Jeremy said, but it's not only been life-altering for people in our state, it's been a medical destination for others across the country and around the world. More than 6,200 patients came through and were treated by Metamore in 2021. Just an unbelievable operation over there at the Pennington Biomedical Research Facility. And LWCC elevating them, celebrating them all month long here on Hunt and Hill. LWCC is Louisiana loyal.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm JD. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
The prep football season, and we get started at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic High and St. Thomas More kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Every Wednesday, 1:15, we head out to the phone lines, visit with our friend JD PicKell of On 3 Sports, host of The Hard Count with JD PicKell. JD, how are you, sir?
I'm good, brother. How are we doing over there?
Doing very good. Let's go back to last weekend, then we'll preview the weekend to come. We'll start with LSU. Why not? Tigers pretty limited offensively, but the defense held them in the game. And then they kind of erupted on offense and put Mississippi State away in the fourth quarter. Your thoughts on what you saw from the Tigers last week in their SEC opener?
It kind of felt just a little bit like that week 1 game against Florida State where it took a little bit for the offense to go and kind of needed like some sense of urgency almost, it felt like. Needed something to sort of get their attention to get them rolling. But, I mean, credit to Matt House and that defense. They were looking just super aggressive and penetrated the line of scrimmage with ease. I mean, I was really impressed by them with, playing against an offense that for a lot of teams, they have to, they kind of get caught off guard with how that air raid works in Will Rogers. So that's a good win in being able to get up off the mat when they're down 13-0 going into, the end of the first half. Really encouraging a win to win. And Jaden Daniels was the catalyst, obviously, as I'm sure you all have already talked about. I was impressed by him and the way that the team really seemed to feed off of what he was bringing to the table. So that was a lot of fun and a good win for LSU.
I'll leave the X's and O's to Jeremy on this show because that's out of my depth, but I am curious as to your thoughts on this. How effective can Jaden Daniels be tucking it and running as often as he is? Is his athleticism just going to translate each and every week, or are really good defenses in the SEC going to be able to take that away without compromising the rest of their defense?
Well, I'm not sure what y'all were seeing, but for me, a lot of what came for him in the run game was off of sort of those broken plays. And, I mean, they played 2 true freshman tackles. So, I mean, that's something that I think is definitely a luxury to have when you're breaking in that offensive line. So, will it look different when they get to different teams within the SEC? Absolutely. But I think for right now, being able to have some of that on tape and just to say, okay, hey, we have to spy number 5 or we have to account for him during the week and spend an extra period on scramble drill or whatever it is, I mean, that's something defenses will have to prepare for. So I don't think you want it to necessarily be your fastball. I don't think LSU wants to be their fastball either, but being able to have it in your back pocket is just never a bad thing, and it's a headache for defenses in the long run.
I think I'm going to ask everyone the same exact question, so I'll ask you too, JD. What do you think about the special teams? Do you think that's something that this team can improve on as the season goes on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in the first couple of weeks, you start to say, and you probably know this, Jeremy, but I think the first couple of weeks, I'm not super alarmed by it just because you're not repping a lot of those things at a super high intensity. Like you can do, punt and then have a fair catch call. But I mean, it's hard to replicate an intense kickoff drill or, to cover kickoff full speed or kick return full speed. Like those are things that are really hard to get a lot of reps at until you get to a game. So you can walk it through all you want and talk it through all you want on the board, but until it's in a game-like scenario, it's hard to really get, super acclimated to that kind of environment. So the first 3 weeks, it's concerning for sure, all the miscues that you've seen from LSU, but is it fixable? Absolutely. It's just got to be something that they drill down, obviously, on during the week and make a point of emphasis going forward.
A&M changes quarterbacks, defense dominates, and they get a win to kind of bounce back from that tough App State week before they go to Arkansas, to play Arkansas. What'd you make of their win over Miami?
I'm still concerned about the defense. I mean, I know they only allowed 9 points, but it was just bend, don't break the entirety of the game. I mean, they allowed 27 first downs for the second week in a row. They've allowed over 170 yards on the ground. I really don't like that matchup if I'm an A&M fan with that Arkansas rushing attack coming to town. I think that could get out of hand in a hurry if A&M can't push the ball downfield. So in terms of what I saw from Max Johnson, I was really encouraged because there's just so many pieces on this A&M offense, and I kind of liken it to driving in a residential with that whole A&M offense, meaning whoever the quarterback is, whoever's driving that car, we don't need you going 80 miles an hour. We don't need you doing donuts. If you can just kind of follow the speed limit, get us going the right place, have a nice cruising pace, and stop at stop signs, not turn the ball over, like we'll be in good shape. But to beat Arkansas, I think they're going to need to be able to put their foot on the gas just a little bit more to stay competitive, because I think Arkansas is going to have a chance to really roll, especially on the ground.
Anyone who's listened to this show knows how big of a fan I am of Lane Kiffin, but I think they could have some possible quarterback issues this season. What do you think about their quarterback room, and who do you think should be their starter going forward?
I'm still a Jackson Dart guy until the wheels completely fall off. I know they've obviously had a good showing against Georgia Tech as a team, but I think with all of the talent that I'll say this. With all the talent that Jackson Dart possesses, I would truly allow him to play his way out of that job, as long as it doesn't, equate to a loss for your football team. Until I see things that are just overly concerning with Jackson Dart, I'd probably stick with him. He's shown before, especially at USC. I mean, he flashed quite a few times. I think if you can grow with him and kind of supplement that running game with him and Zach Evans and get downhill and just try and make an easier picture for him, I think that would be the way that I approach it. So I'm a Jackson Dart apologist, but I'd be curious to hear y'all's thoughts as to that quarterback room.
Look, I'm curious to see what goes on in Auburn over the next couple of months. You pull on that rubber band and pull and pull and pull, and eventually it popped. It popped in Lincoln, Nebraska a couple of weeks ago, and look, they pulled it real hard against Penn State last weekend. What is the deal on the Plains right now?
Yeah, it's not looking pretty. It's not looking pretty, and I think obviously the loss was bad. Brian Harsin probably has the writing on the wall a little bit, but I think what it speaks to more is, kind of the way they lost. A lot of the things that they did poorly were things that, you really drill down on in practice. Hey, we're getting lined up this way. We're going to make sure that we take care of the football, like just stuff that you could point back to the coaching staff and say, okay, you probably allowed this to happen to some degree in practice. That's why we're seeing it in the game. And so in terms of, how secure his job is or whatever it may be, it's hard to say a guy should be gone within the first 2 weeks of the season, but I think the writing is most definitely on the wall. And, there's probably not a whole lot of people within that Auburn program or within that Auburn, atmosphere, I should say, that are going to, tell you Brian Harsin's going to be there this time next year. Fair or not, probably not going to be the case there at Auburn.
Anytime you're the starting quarterback for Florida and you wear number 15, you're going to have a lot of eyes on you. Do you think it's alarming that Anthony Richardson doesn't have any touchdown passes this season?
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is alarming. I mean, the touchdown pass number is probably one that is going to make its way around social media on a bunch of Tennessee graphics and a bunch of these different, parody pages, whatever it may be. I think the biggest thing to me is they need to allow him to just kind of cut it loose in the run game. And I know they don't have a solid number 2 behind him, and I know that, if he goes down, Florida's sort of up the stream without a paddle, but you're hindering him by not allowing him to do what makes him special. Like, you don't ask Steph Curry to drive the lane and not shoot threes. I mean, you let him do what he does well, and then, if he can, or I'll say this, whatever he does well, him being able to throw the ball will come from him being able to run the ball, if that makes sense. So get into a rhythm, 1, and then 2, defenses will have to honor that. So the passing touchdowns number is definitely concerning, but overall, I think they need to just kind of cut him loose and allow him to not have to play hesitant, as it sounds like they're kind of doing right now in Gainesville.
Tennessee's a 10.5-point favorite on Rocky Top against Florida this weekend. Do you think the Vols do you think the Gators can keep it close? Do you think they can win the game?
Gosh, yeah, I think it will take kind of I don't want to say superhuman effort from Anthony Richardson, but they definitely need him to be the guy that obviously leads the charge and kind of have a Utah-esque performance. Like, they need him to be special with his legs. Tennessee can definitely get it out of hand if they make some big plays early. Like, Nealon will be a powder keg, just waiting for a reason to set on fire. And so if Hendon Hooker and company can get it going early, that'll be a very interesting thing to watch if it's Tennessee, 10 early, 14 early, whatever it looks like. One thing that's being talked about a little bit is Cedric Tillman going to be available, and how healthy is that backfield? Because people that know Tennessee know, hey, we got to establish the run to be able to go deep. So, 1, can you establish the run with a big depth backfield? And then 2, do you have your main receiver that you want to go deep to? So that'll be a thing to watch for sure. But in the end, I do think Tennessee ends up winning this game and kind of gets their season-defining win to this point, at least in Knoxville.
All right, we're knee-deep in this college football season. JD, tell everybody where they can find your stuff.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at JD PicKell. We do content every single day as well on our YouTube channel, the On3 YouTube channel. Our Twitter handle for our company website, or our company in general, is at On3 Sports. It's actually just On3. So you can find us at on3.com. You can find us at On3 Sports on Twitter.
The Hard Count with JD PicKell joins us each and every Wednesday at 1:15. Thanks for your time. Enjoy the football this weekend. We'll do it again next week.
Appreciate y'all. Talk to you then.
Sounds good. That is JD PicKell of On3 Sports. Look, I'll talk about this a lot on Thursday, and then we make our picks on Friday. But I've got kind of a line in the water up in Tennessee. My college roommates are from Memphis. They got some really, really close friends that I've gotten close to over the years that are big Vols fans. And really, since I've known them, we played in the SEC championship game in 2007 when we were in college, and they've just been terrible ever since. And every single year, they try to get excited and fired up, and Vols are back. This is our new coaches, and they just always fall flat. And there's a real sentiment that Heupel might be the guy to get them out of it. And one of the things they've got to do is beat Florida and Alabama and Georgia. And I gave the stats earlier this summer, but they've lost 15 in a row against Alabama. They've lost 16 out of 17 against Florida, and they've lost 13 out of 14 against Georgia. They get beat by those 3 teams every single year. So they've got to find a way to get the monkey off their back. And they've got the quarterback, they've got an offense, and Florida's trying to figure their way out. They're a 10.5-point favorite at home, and game day's coming. Rocky flop would be an understatement if they don't come out and get it done on Saturday.
No, I mean, you just extended Heupel that they're doubling down on it. They believe in everything that he's done in his short time there at Tennessee. And so this is a big spot for them. This is a time that you can grab the nation's attention and say, we're here. We're a program that you got to look out for. We got the quarterback. We got the offense. We got the identity. And we can't mess around, man. We're out here to play football. And so I think if Tennessee finds a way to lose this football game, that's going to be daunting for the start of this era with Heupel and just all the hype that they've built. Hype, but all the hype that they've
train.
Yeah, all the hype that they've built. So yeah, it's a big time spot for Tennessee.
Opening hour on Wednesday is brought to you by your Louisiana John Deere dealer, Sunshine Quality Solutions, from a team in Tennessee that thinks they're on the rise and have it figured out to one that flat doesn't. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy.
Hanniger. Join us for the next edition of Hanny Time. John Hendricks from Boot Crew Media will be with us to talk about Panthers and Saints and another look at the college football slate for the weekend. Hanny Time, noon weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. 5 ESPN Baton
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour every Wednesday brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions, your Louisiana John Deere dealer located on Airline Highway on the website at sunequip.com. We talked about something there with JD about Brian Harsin. And look, that was an embarrassment of their program on Saturday night. And after the offseason they went through, to say things are not in a very good spot on the Plains would be putting it incredibly mildly. That's just the situation that we're in. Now, in sports, I think sometimes making a move as a reaction to something else that happens can get you in trouble. Just because the Red Sox go sign a power-hitting first baseman doesn't mean the Yankees have to go overextend to get the best pitcher on the market. Like, if you just do that to counteract some things as opposed to what's in the best interest of your organization or your program, you may make some irrational decisions. But the fact of the matter remains, when you jump into the pool of the coaching carousel in college football, there are, generally speaking, other teams there. We know that in 2016, LSU was in the pool early after Les Miles was relieved of his duties in September. And Joe Oliva laid the groundwork, and they were deep down the line with Tom Herman. And then Texas lost to Kansas, and Charlie Strong got fired, and Texas swooped in and took Tom Herman. And LSU didn't get the guy that they wanted because there was another team there. Now, Joe Oliva would tell you he got the guy he wanted, his first guy he offered the job to, whatever. And Ed Ogeron came in and won the Fiesta Bowl and had the greatest season anyone's ever seen before. It worked out okay there for a couple years. And Tom Herman got fired. So who knows? But that is what happened. Then LSU enters the pool again, and as Ed Ogeron's fired, and they are in the pool. And in the coaching carousel of last year, Florida was open, USC was open, Oklahoma was open. I mean, it was a lot going on in the coaching carousel world. Now I look at this, and Nebraska's fired their coach. And Bruce Feldman's put it out there that Bill O'Brien, Lance Leopold, who's at Kansas, and Matt Campbell are on the short list of Nebraska's list. And Auburn's sitting there going, okay, are we going to keep this going with Brian Harsin, or are we going to fire him and jump in? And this is not a reason to make a hire, fire a coach and make a new hire, but I don't know that anybody else is going to be in the waters here. I mean, look around at the powerhouse programs in the country. Alabama's not making a change. Georgia's not making a change. Florida's not making a change. LSU's not making a change. A&M's not making a change. Tennessee's not making a change. Ohio State's not making a change. Michigan's not making a change. Penn State's not making a change. USC's not making a change. You kind of run around. Oklahoma's not making a change. Like, none of those programs are in jeopardy of firing their coach. And Auburn is significantly more attractive in terms of winning championships than Nebraska is. Now, Nebraska probably got a little easier road up there as opposed to having to deal with Georgia and Alabama on your doorstep. But Auburn's played for the national championship twice in the last 12 years. So I just wonder if they're not looking around going, we can kind of be the king of the castle here, and we don't have to worry about Texas coming in. Or, I mean, maybe the bottom falls out and Florida State makes a move. I doubt that. They've won 2 big games early in the season. Primetime game against LSU, primetime game against Louisville, so probably not. Maybe Auburn looks around and goes, this is our chance to jump in and get whoever we want. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I think it's a prime opportunity, and it's unfortunate when you're only 3 games into the season and you're already making plans for the future. But if I'm Auburn, I'll probably go with one of these coordinators, man. I think that's when they had their most success with Miles on. Maybe you get a Kendall Browse. Maybe you get one of these guys to take over your program. I like Bill O'Brien. I think he did a good job at Penn State. Obviously, that Bama offense, it looks amazing right now. But I just don't know. I don't see him at Auburn and then seeing him lining it up against Nick. I don't know. I don't love that hire. But, yeah, for Auburn, I think they're they're definitely looking at it. It's, you see them. They're always trying to do the next big thing and make the next big move. Even if they're winning 9 or 10 games, they don't care. If you're not beating Bama and competing for a national championship, it's just simply not good enough. So, yeah, they're going to be looking. It's unfortunate for that program. I love it for myself. But, yeah, I think they're looking for sure.
And if you're a coach, there's multiple ways to think about this. Always stay climbing the ladder. Next best opportunity, take it. Best chance to win a championship, take it. Or best place to live your life as the football coach and have a career. Pat Fitzgerald, I'm certain, has been offered plenty of jobs that would offer him a better chance to win a championship than Northwestern. But he went there, and he likes Evanston, and it's a great school, and he's comfortable there, and the administration loves him, so he stays there. And so if that's your motive, Auburn is not a good spot because Georgia's not going anywhere, and they're right down the street. I don't know if they'll play every year. We'll see. New schedule, who knows. And Bama, for the formative years of your time, is not going anywhere. Maybe in year 6 or 7, Saban's not there. Maybe he is. I don't know. But that year 6 or 7 is a long time in college football coaching. So Auburn is an interesting job because they got resources. You can recruit there. You can put together a national championship caliber team there. But it takes 2 missteps, and they're literally flying across the region to go interview Petrino in the middle of the night. They're literally performing an internal investigation into Brian Harsin. Like, they do things that no one else is really doing. Now, Tennessee's had their shenanigans up there too, but Auburn more so. So if you're looking at this and you're Matt Campbell and they love you at Iowa State and you go 8-5 and sometimes beat Iowa, holy cow, that's unbelievable. You go 8-5 and beat Iowa in a bowl game at Auburn, you're fired. Now, they'll give you $20 million on the way out, and that's another way to look at it. But I'm just curious how that job will be evaluated if it does come open.
No, it's definitely one of the best jobs in the country. I'm not going to play top 5, top 10, but you talk about avenues to go win a championship. It's definitely there. Anytime you can recruit your state and your local, you can just recruit Georgia and Auburn, and you recruit those 2 states well. You're going to be, Alabama. You're going to be in a great spot if you're that program. And so, yeah, I see that job as being a very desirable job for a lot of these coaches, especially the coordinators. Looking at the head coaches, and we had so much turnaround. Just this last offseason, I don't know how many head coaches are going to be willing to jump and move to that and take that job unless they're at a smaller school, like you said, like Iowa State. But, yeah, Auburn, as much as I don't want to give them credit for it, they do have the avenue to get to a national championship.
And there are rumors now, and who knows who put them out, someone with some motive and some agenda. I don't know who, but there are rumors that Brian Harsin has inquired about the Arizona State job now that Herm Edwards has been fired.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been out west a lot in his career, certainly came from Boise. It would be a chance to move out that way and just get into a more comfortable position. Nobody at Arizona State expects you to go 11-1 and make the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
If you can represent the university well, shake the boosters' hands, maybe play a little golf with them, recruit a couple of guys, and win 8 or 9 games, you're on an easy street. Maybe that's a little more appealing. Certainly, he left a place where he was very comfortable at Boise, having a lot of success for the brightest lights in the sport. That is in the state of Alabama. There's no question about that. But if it does come to pass that he takes that job, it'll feel a lot like when Trent Johnson left here to went to TCU, and some guys are just, I've had it. I've had it.
Yeah, no, I think that's for a lot of coaches. You don't realize just how much pressure it is coaching in the SEC, especially when you got to see Kirby and Nick, every single season. You don't get a break, buddy. You got to play those guys every single year, and it just creates so much pressure. And then, like you said, you got that administration breathing down your neck. You get a chance to go to the West Coast, get some sun, a lot less humidity, a lot less
Golf's
pressure.
Golf's good out there, I can promise you.
Golf's amazing. And, yeah, I think the Open's out there. I need to get out to that. I hear that's electric. So, so it's just a lot less pressure out there. And then you look at the Pac-12 now with USC leaving and UCLA leaving. It's a lot better avenue as a head coach. I probably get a lot more sleep at night having that head coaching job. So yeah, I would not be shocked at all if Harson's kind of already packing his bags as well with the tea leaves being written on the wall.
And again, it just I suggest it would be the incorrect move to determine, oh my gosh, there's no one else in the hiring pool. We can get whoever we want. That's why we're firing Brian Harsin. But if you're close and you got some people that think this guy just more than what we're sitting here knowing, and you understand the way that the dynamics of the department are working, and the bottom falls out this year and it's just not going to work, or he's unhappy or he's looking elsewhere, you look at this and go, well, we might be in a decent spot to go get whoever we want. That's the way that it could go. I mean, I know for sure that LSU was down the road with Tom Herten when Texas swooped in, and I think if LSU would have acted very quickly, they could have taken Billy Napier from Florida. I mean, just because LSU, Florida, and Texas are 3 of the top 6-7 jobs in the country, and you sometimes can get in competition with that. It doesn't appear that's going to be the case for Auburn, so we'll see what they decide to do. But not great on Saturday, and it feels like, as I was talking about with JD, you stretch that rubber band, and eventually you can't stretch anymore, and that's the end of that. So we shall certainly see. Opening hour each and every Wednesday brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions, your Louisiana John Deere dealer located on Airline Highway. When we come back, history being made, and we need to talk about it. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill. This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out NewOrleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Figure in a football week, if we go ahead and spend, we have left 5 minutes of the week on baseball, they won't burn the station down. So we'll start there. Aaron Judge hit the 60th home run last night in a crazy comeback by the New York Yankees. Again, this is an unbelievable story in sports that has started to pick up the traction that I think it should. Certainly not what Bonds and McGuire got in 1998, but this is truly an unbelievable season by Aaron Judge by my standards, because when you consider some of the things that he has done, it's truly unbelievable. Listen to some of these statistics. I gave this one last week. It came from Mike Greenberg on his show. He took a 20 home run lead on the rest of the league. Kyle Schwarber second. 20 homers. Better than second place. That had not been done since 1928 when Babe Ruth did it. Listen to some of these statistics. Now, I understand that I'm taking a little bit of selective data here, but I think it still illustrates a pretty incredible point. Since 2019, 81 pitchers, 81 different pitchers have thrown 100 miles an hour. 81. And when I look at average fastball velocity, going back to 2002, I couldn't quite get there to 1998, but the average fastball velocity in 2002 was 88.5 miles per hour.
True.
That's where the sport's gone in 20 years. And Bonds and McGuire obviously did this 24 years ago. So you've got everybody in the league throwing 100. And Bonds and McGuire facing a lot of guys averaging about 90. 10 miles an hour. That separates the men from the boys. And Judge has 60.
Yeah, it's
It's unbelievable what he's doing.
Yeah, look, I don't know the most about baseball, but I trust Buster Olney. He says he's had the single best performance he's ever seen in the history of baseball. And I think when you say the things with the pitching you're seeing week in, week out, all the data they have, I don't think people realize how much data they have nowadays. They know where to pitch to you. They know where you're not really hitting the ball well. And he just continues to hit the ball just so hard. And, I was watching that last night, and so many Yankee fans left that game. That was a mistake, man. That was an electric thing. And it's great because, to me, I don't think this team is where they are this season without Judge. And in baseball, it's rare that you see that. You see Mike Trout just totally dominate year in and year out, and you don't really see much from that team. But what Aaron's done this year, man, he's really lifted this entire baseball team. It's just been so fascinating to watch, and I'm so excited to see how this thing finishes out because there's no telling where he's going to end up at, man. You figure he'd slow down at some point. He's not slowing down at all.
He will get his due credit from the people that love baseball if he hits his 62nd home run.
Yep.
Now, Babe Ruth did it in 154 games, and then Maris had 162. It was the first year they had that. But right now, the Yankees only played 147. So he's got 7 more games to break Ruth's record, and then the entirety of the season with another 8 more to go to beat Maris. If he hits 62 home runs, I will personally say it's the greatest home run hitting season of all time. Yep. And it may already be. And if Buster only says that for sure, that's fine. Bonds is the best hitter I've ever seen. Steroids and not steroids, whatever. The fact that guy was never getting anything to hit and was pumping balls into the seats and hitting them on the screws every single time with that much power, with that quick a bat, and that's all helped with steroids and that short a swing. It was unbelievable, and I still say that. But this home run hitting season from Aaron Judge will be the best ever, in my opinion, because of the advancement of the game and just what I watched Sosa. Now I was 12, so I was 10. And I understand that your perspective is a little bit different. But I know those closers were throwing 94, 95. The starting pitchers were throwing 90, 91. I watch Major League Baseball most nights. Everybody is in the mid-90s. You just don't. Kyle Hendricks is the only guy I see that pitches routinely that's throwing 89-mile-an-hour fastballs, and he didn't even throw that hard anymore. But this is incredible.
No, it is. And I think you talk about historic things, and baseball is such a historic sport with certain numbers that everyone kind of remembers. Aaron's this season, I think you're going to remember whatever number he ends up with. People are going to remember that, especially in this modern day with TikTok and social media and everything that way. I'm surprised it's not getting enough pub, man. To me, it's just not getting talked about enough. I know it's Hunting Hill. We're going to slip in our baseball when we can, but the season he's having this year, I just think he needs to get a lot more credit because it's truly fascinating in this day and age.
Fan who caught the 60th homer just gave it back for a couple signed balls. Is that enough? You need to bargain a little better than that?
Look, he needs to go talk to Tom Brady and to get that deal. I need the Bitcoin. I need the jersey sign. I need it all. I need the full 9 that we know. We're not just doing the tickets now. That's a big number right there.
Bitcoin in a bad spot? I don't do Ethereum or Bitcoin or Litecoin.
It's not at its peak, but it's still worth a lot. So yeah, I need a little something. I need a little something more than some tickets.
I need like a season ticket. That's what I need.
Yes, exactly.
I don't need sure, I'll take $100,000, but if you just give me tickets for the year, I think that would be great too. I mean, that's kind of where I would be angling because those are pretty penny up there in New York. You can get some cheap tickets down in Tampa, maybe in Oakland. You can get some cheap tickets. New York, not quite as much. So that's maybe where I would be angling a little bit. Or playoff tickets for this year. That'd be a good thing. That's less times to the park and more high profile baseball. But whatever. That's what the kid wanted. He wanted some sun baseballs. So there you go. That's going to do it for hour number 1 here. The opening hour each and every Monday brought to you by Sunshine Quality Solutions. They are your Louisiana John Deere dealer located on Airline Highway. Website is sunequip.com. They got new equipment, used equipment, parts, service. You can do it all with Sunshine Quality Solutions. Browse that inventory, order your parts, or get some tips for self-repair. They're there at sunequip.com. Hour number 2 locked and loaded. Shea Dixon at 2 o'clock talking Cruton. Our SEC power rankings coming up at the bottom of the hour. Hope your Wednesday is getting along quite nicely. Sports Center is coming up in the break, and we will be back with more of a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis. But I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Embattled owner Robert Sarver announced he's begun the process to sell both the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury. Last week, the NBA suspended Sarver for a year and fined him $10 million for workplace misconduct, including using racial slurs and harassing employees. The pursuit of history continues tonight when the Yankees take on the Pirates, 7:05 Eastern on ESPN+. New York superstar Aaron Judge, one home run away from tying Roger Maris's American League single-season record of 61. Judge is having the greatest hitting season in baseball history, especially considering how the game is currently played, believes ESPN's Buster Olney.
The advent of analytics, how teams search for weaknesses in hitters, all the relievers, and everybody throwing harder than ever, and yet in the second half of the season, Aaron Judge hitting .372, a .506 on-base percentage, .853 slugging percentage in 54 games in the second half, Greeny, 27 home runs.
Buccaneers receiver Mike Evans' one-game suspension has been upheld. He'll miss Sunday's showdown against the Packers. Evans was disciplined for his role in the brawl with the Saints on Sunday.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2 on a Wednesday edition, Hunt and Hill. Hope your week is getting along well. Hump Day. Moving towards another football weekend here in South Louisiana. We'll head to the phone lines now. Shea Dixon of On 3 Sports, our guest. Shea D, how we doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing very well. Okay, now that we've seen Brian Kelly and his staff in action for a couple home games, and now they've gotten kind of into a full swing of a football season, anything you've noticed in the way that they have handled visits, recruiting, that stood out to you?
You know, I think the biggest thing for me so far, guys, is just the amount of guys they've had in, right? I mean, we've had no official visitors yet, but we've seen almost every commitment, whether out-of-state or in-state, show up for a game. And we've seen them have a pretty heavy unofficial visitor list. This past weekend, they had the number 1 and 2 quarters in America in town for the 24 class. So that's kind of stands out to me, Hunt, so far. As 2 games in, you've got about 50, 60 kids who've already been to campus that are either committed or have an offer.
You've now been on this beat for 3 head coaches. Is this a more national visitor list than we have seen? I mean, that would be the reputation of Brian Kelly, or has it been about the standard?
Well, it's a lot of Louisiana kids, but, I mean, we're seeing a lot of Texas guys come in. We're seeing a lot of Florida kids come in, a lot of Georgia kids. And I've been impressed, Hunt, that this class, when you look, they've gone heavy on the Louisiana kids, here lately. It was a nice run on things, but they've kind of repped it from all over the country, from the Northeast to West Coast to Florida, Miami with Jaylen Brown. So I kind of feel like every pocket of the country's in play right now, but there's never a doubt Louisiana's being made the priority.
So this used to be an easy question for you to answer. Now I don't think it is as much. They've got, by my count, 22 commitments for this class. How many do you think they're going to sign? Isn't there just limitless now? Just fill the boat where you can?
Yes, and you got to stay under the 85.
Sure.
So what's your thoughts there? You going full 40 here, Hunt? Old school Ole Miss style?
I mean, I'm not. I'm just curious what Brian Kelly's doing. I mean, generally we're kind of looking towards the spots for the 25. That's out the window now. So would it surprise you if they signed 29 high schoolers?
They're at 22 right now.
Right.
And look, the NCAA put that new kind of window rule in place for transfers, which I like. So now there's a window. Like, it's after championship games are announced until like mid-January or like January. So it's like a 45-day stretch. And then there's a 2-week stretch right after spring ball. So those are the only times you can enter the portal, recruit kids from the portal, whatever it might be. So we're kind of on pause with transfers until then. But that's fine, because here's how it lays up. You've got 22 high school guys. You'll continue to recruit them. Let's say you get 25, 6, 7 high school guys in the boat. Maybe they add 5, 6 more kids, maybe more. But then after the season ends, they do that January kind of evaluating the inventory, right? Like who all went pro, who all is going to enter the portal, who, for whatever reason isn't on the team anymore. And then you subtract that number from the 85 and say, hey, look, we still have this many spots we can fill. So that's when you get active in the transfer portal. So I bet it's 25 to 30 high school signees would be my guess, which is, the norm. But they're not going to come anywhere close to that, 18 transfer signees from a year ago. And Brian Kelly talked about that. That was the 1 year kind of let's carry us over and rebuild the roster. And then from there, I think you treat the portal about like every other team, even the Georgias and Bamas. If we have any, big glaring needs after recruiting and after everyone's already entered the draft or whatever, then we'll go to the portal. If not, then we're still heavy on high school kids and we're heavy on development.
When you see Will Campbell starting at left tackle and Emmy Jones starting at right tackle, and you see Harold Perkins making plays out there, how big of an impact do you think that is on this recruiting class and going forward for Brian Kelly?
I mean, I think it's massive. I think when kids look at your position and, what are my chances of coming in and playing early, so often people equate that, Jeremy, with like the depth chart. Like, hey, I'm a running back, and I see that you don't have any running backs except the seniors, so, like, that's a good spot. If I can come in, I can, very likely be playing right away, or I'll be in the 2 deep, whatever it might be. I think the good thing when you look at this is O-line, for instance, they've got guys on the bench right now that have started games for LSU. Like, it wasn't like they didn't have depth, and these kids just walked in and, were given jobs. I mean, they competed and beat out guys who were now sitting on the sidelines watching, who started a lot of football, started a number of football games and certainly played a lot before these two stepped on campus. So I think you kind of got to take it a step further and peel back the layer of understanding that, hey, it's not just, they're playing early. Like, they battled and competed and won jobs. And when a high school recruit sees that and sees, hey, look, Emory and Will are starting as true freshmen, and there's older veteran guys that they're starting over, that's kind of a big selling point for me. At least I think it is.
Chatting with Shea Dixon of 1-3 Sports, you mentioned the senior running backs, Emory and Kane, likely out of here after this year. You look at Armani Goodwin having a nice start to his year, but then in this class, Caleb Jackson and Trey Holly, what kind of senior years have they gotten off to in terms of their starts, and what are these guys like? Could they help next year?
Yeah, so Caleb was injured a couple of weeks ago, and it sounds like he'll be out till November. So he's one where you kind of wait to see if he gets back, how the rest of the year goes. But, I mean, he's a top 15 running back prospect from here in Baton Rouge. So no matter what, you feel good about keeping him and getting him. And then Trey Holly, I don't know what he ran for this weekend. He had a good game a couple of weekends ago, but he's not far off from breaking a couple of Jeremy's buddies' state rushing records. Jeremy played at Redemptress. Competition's a little bit stiffer, but let's see. Kenny Hilliard held the rushing record, if I'm right, for the state, and then Nick Brissett held it, and now I think Trey Holly's going to get it. So it'll be 3 LSU products, at least, sitting at the top of the state record book.
To me, DB's got to be a massive deal here, because when you look at the experience in that LSU secondary, it's nice when you bring those guys in and they're ready to go, but then they're gone pretty quick. So where are they right now in terms of the DV class?
I mean, they've stacked up on them, and, I mean, they've got a handful of corners. They've got a handful of safeties. They got some safeties who can play nickel. They've got some safeties who can play corners. So, I think there's some position versatility, kind of flexibility there. We see Jay Ward do that. He's played every single position that there is in the defensive backfield. But there's some guys kind of like that you can move around. But I think everybody right now is focused on what would be considered the big uncommitted fish in Javian Toviano, who he's out of Texas. He's ranked as a top 5 safety, but LSU's recruiting him at corner, and I kind of get the sense he wants to play corner in college. But he said he's got kind of a decision made in his mind. A&M's been on him, Texas has been on him, LSU, Michigan, but he hasn't visited anywhere but LSU since June. And the end of July, he visited LSU. Then he told us at On 3 that kind of privately, he's pretty sure he's made his mind up, and that happened in August, right before senior year started. And then the only visit he's made since is to LSU. He was decked out in his Joe Burrow jersey, hanging out on the sidelines of the Southern game. So things seem to be trending in the right direction there. Like, that could be one that you land who is a top 50 player, and really for me fits the bill of, DBU. You've got every year a top 5 corner in the class, and that's kind of what he but he'll end up being ranked, I think. So that's the big name I'm watching. They've got guys committed and talented guys, but if there's one out there, it's Tobiano out of Texas.
When you look at the top players in Louisiana right now, most of those guys really have made their decisions on what schools they're going to go to. But what are some of the guys left in this state of Louisiana that you think LSU really has their eyes on and want to get part of this class?
Gosh, there's a lot of, obviously, as you said, a lot of dominoes have already fallen. And, early during the coaching transition, kind of a lot of top guys, top 10 guys, top 15 guys committed, and they were going to other schools. And it was sort of understood that they probably weren't going to go to LSU, so it wasn't the end of the world. But they turned around and reeled off a number of commits, like Jalen Hurd and Sampson, and you go up and down the list. And so they've got a lot of Louisiana guys. A lot of dominoes have fallen. I'm kind of in the spot now where you're really watching uncommitted or even committed guys, but who don't have offers yet. So, like, Jonathan Backs out of Edna Carr is a linebacker who's had a very nice start to his senior year. You can kind of Kadarius Collins is a D lineman up in North Louisiana. Marjavius Moss is a cornerback up in Shreveport. Ashley Williams is a kid who has picked up some big offers playing D line at Zachary. So I think we're kind of like a month into the season now, almost, and that's when most colleges feel good about, hey, look, we've watched 3-4 games of senior film, and here's where we're kind of at with the board in this position, and now I think in the coming weeks, next 2 weeks, months, and kind of leading up to December, we'll start to see potentially guys here in Louisiana getting offered. And both of y'all know this. We've played this song and dance before, right? I mean, Russell Gage, Duke Riley, Foster Morrow, Lloyd Cushenberry, Justin Jefferson, like you name it. If there's guys that at the end they're kind of like, all right, we're going to make a move on them, and it's closer to signing day. More often than not, it seemed to pay off kind of in an odd way.
Shea Dixon from On 3 got a Jaden Tobiano story up on the site right now. Tell me about the specials I got going on over there at On 3. I know it's your new home.
Yes, it's $1 for a year, so
that's pretty good.
It's about as special as it gets. I don't think we'll be dropping it below that. I'll never just giving it away for free, but $1 for a year.
Look, I just started paying tuition for the first time ever, but I can handle $1 a year.
All right, the baby was just born. You've got this child in school already?
Look, we got to go to work, Shay. This kid's got to go. He got to go sit somewhere. We got to go pay the bills.
How's Dad gonna afford those stadium club tickets if she's not working, right?
I'm not paying for any tickets. Press pass, baby. LSU Sports Radio Network. All right, Shay. Thanks for your time, man.
Oh, man, we're done already. All right, guys.
He is Shea Dixon from On 3, $1 for a year over there. And it's now, the recruiting calendar's shifted. It used to be that, like, January was just, like, the full-fledged rush. Now it's in the middle of the season. You got to get in there and get your news, and Shea is as good as anybody over there on 3. That was your in-depth recruiting segment. If you're deep in the weeds on recruiting, Jeremy, I'll do a little bit more 50,000 feet coming up in our next segment before we get to the power rankings at 2:30. Don't go anywhere. Not Monday. Thank God it's not Monday. Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford. I tell you a couple times a week about their service department over there at Bayou Ford. Just having to get your car worked on is not fun. It takes a lot of time. You got to get to work. You got to get the kids to school or practice, whatever. I don't have time to go sit in a car dealership. Well, you don't have to, because they've got 6 full-time drivers on staff here for you. Call them, say, hey, I got to get this looked at. Can y'all come get my car and look at it? Give me a loaner. Let me get on about my day. That's what they'll do. They'll drive up. They'll drop a loaner off to you. They'll take your car down to LaPlace to the dealership. They'll do the service that needs to be done, get that car running as good as new, and then they'll come on back and bring the loaner back to LaPlace. It's all about convenience over there at Bayou Ford.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They have the all-new 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline. Has a Ready Lift 3 kit on there. Also, all-new 2021 Ford F-150s. They're getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
New cars, used cars. It's all there on the website. The website's BayouFord.com. Bayou Ford, where they're going to do right by you.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm JD Cody. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdcody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and...
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. Former Panthers running back Jonathan Stewart joins us to preview the Saints and Panthers, and Russ Mitchell joins us from London. 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Thanks to Shea Dixon of 0-3 for jumping on, getting into the weeds a little bit in recruiting. If you missed it, catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you would like to check that out. And I was glad he talked about Toviano, because that's one of the biggest fish left in the sea for LSU, and he gave a pretty promising update there, saying, look, this guy says he kind of knows where he wants to go, and the only place he's been is LSU. So I know A&M feels pretty good about it. Check back in on Texags for that.
Oh, man.
But it seems like a good thing. In any event, this class really does look strong. Right now, On3's got this class ranked 6th in the country, which is 3rd in the SEC. It's consensus top 10 by everybody. And some of the guys in the class are getting off to really, really nice starts to their senior year. Shelton Sampson, in one of the games of the week last week in Louisiana, put up 2 first-half touchdowns on U-High, who's got a really good team. So Lance Hurd has been a monster up there at Neville. That's a guy who, 247's got as a top 15 player in the country at tackle, which is really, really exciting. I was unaware, that's my fault for not keeping up with it, that Caleb Jackson had gotten hurt, but sounds like Trey Holly's off to a good start. And so the class has a lot of numbers, because you got 22 guys already. You got guys that are very, very highly thought of. You've gotten some of the really top players in the state, the ones that were attainable. To me, it feels like a really solid start. Now, they got to get the signatures, but it seems like a pretty solid start to Brian Kelly's first class.
Yeah, 100%. And you can kind of feel the momentum when BK kind of took over, and you saw what he was doing in the transfer portal, and you saw, kind of guys just coming to LSU with, kind of no kind of vision of what it will be. And obviously Coach Kelly had never coached a game here. And then You saw him just start picking it up in the recruiting class, and it was a little shaky for a lot of people here in Baton Rouge early on in the summer. You're looking at 5-6 recruits on this list, and then you see that momentum pick up, and they just start dominating the recruiting. And so I think they're not done. I think, National Signing Day, that they're still going to be calling some guys trying to, really, really put this recruiting class over the top. But I think it's very refreshing right now to look at this recruiting class and look at all the talent and really to see, you hold the state down. That's the reason why Coach Kelly came to the state of Louisiana, not to let Alabama come in here, not to let Texas, not to let those Aggies come in here and steal our recruits, but, to really get some of the best players in the state to come to LSU and play for their state. So, yeah, Coach Kelly's done a phenomenal job with the recruiting so far.
Shea Dixon mentioned guys coming in from Texas and a lot of them in numbers. And, look, I'll be quite honest with you. When I evaluate high school talent, I think it's a little bit easier to evaluate wide receiver than it is offensive line or defensive line for me because I don't know what I'm looking at half the time. But Kyle Parker's tape from early in the year and even his junior year as a wide receiver from over there in Lucas, Texas, is something to look at. He's a 4-star recruit from 1-3 and from the consensus, and really a guy that is not thought of as one of the top 4 or 5 receivers in the country, closer to about 50th. But his tape's good. I think he's got a chance to come in and be a really good player. That wide receiver room is crowded. I mean, Kayshawn's out, and pretty much everybody else is coming right on back. So may not be a situation. Well, and obviously Jure is going to be gone. That's the point. Every time we talk about wide receiver and do stuff like, we never bring up Jure. Maybe you do in your individual conversations. I'm talking to the audience out there. We don't do a good enough job of singling out Jure. That was a perfect case in point right there where I'm starting to talk about the wide receiver room and I look up and go, didn't even mention Jure James. Leads the team in touchdowns, and it's just been awesome for 2 years.
Yeah, he definitely needs a lot more credit. And I think for Jure, like I always say, man, he's a lunch pail guy. He's going to come to work, not going to make a big fuss. You're not going to see him doing any crazy, gritty touchdown celebrations. He's just going to continue to go out there and make plays. And I think that's why you kind of see some of the reps kind of get divvied away to Jure, and he's on the field like he is, and because he's a playmaker. And so, but looking forward, you got Jaylen Brown in this class. You got Sheldon Sampson in this class. If you can add another one, it just makes that receiver room just so much more stacked than it already is. And my boy Can't Guard Malik's going to be leading the charge. You just feel really, really great about the receiver room going forward.
Another guy that is off to a really good start in his senior year because he missed his junior year is Mac Markway, who is the tight end commitment in this class, and he took his official visit in June and has been to campus twice on unofficials as well. This is a guy that I think has a chance to come in and play. Cole Taylor will still be there, and we think that Mason Taylor is going to be a really, really good player. But Markway is a big dude. He's already 6'5", 250 pounds, and he's thought of as one of the best tight ends in the country at top 10 by On3. So I like him being a part of this class as well.
Yeah, to me, that's definitely a position in need. I think anytime you look at that tight end room, just not the depth you would love to have. To me, I think you only have 2 right now. I think there's some other guys in there, Stores in the crew, but I think you got 2. So if you're Markway in the crew, you definitely want to give yourself an opportunity to come LSU and compete for a starting job. Obviously, you can make some impact in the run game. I think that'll open up a huge avenue for you to play early on in a freshman. And I think for BK, you definitely got to get the tight end. Thanks to Max Johnson, we would have had one this year, but you know how that went.
Oh, man. And look, I look at the other schools that were in the mix for Markway, and you're like, Ohio State, all right, that's really good. You're like, Miami, well, they got a guy that's really aggressive in recruiting. That's a good thing, too. And you go, Iowa. And then you think, wait, Iowa tight end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
yeah. Tight end, you look. That's not many tight end U's out there, but if anyone had to state that claim, it's Iowa.
If he was a safety and he was going to Iowa, I'd be like, I don't know about that. But tight end, they kind of know what they're doing over there at Iowa. So look, again, as I mentioned at the top of the segment, this class is thought of as a top 10 class, and you should be there in your first year. This is you're selling the dream. In year one. And even if things get bumpy in the season, like, look, that's why we're recruiting you. Like, we know we got to fix it. And it's just a honeymoon. And you ought to knock it out of the park in your first year in recruiting. Year 2, kind of the same type deal. And if it starts to drop off and then you don't see the results, so we were just talking about with the schedule release, LSU in Florida next November. Napier and Kelly should have their systems in place. Their guys playing well. Their recruiting class is intact. They ought to be moving in the right direction at that point, which would be to make it a fascinating game. But to bring it back full circle to this class that we're talking about here, I mean, this should be a top 10 class, could be a top 5 class, and that's where you would expect it in year one for a big-name coach with a high-powered staff with a lot of resources at a place with a brand as strong as LSU.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what's expected. I think that's why so many people are a little agitated when the recruiting class wasn't looking the way it's supposed to look, and you're outside the top 20. You got teams like Northwestern ranked ahead of you in recruiting. It's just
not quite the case anymore.
Yeah, not quite the case at all. So I think for now, going forward and now looking, what BK's done, I really can't make any complaints about it. I think he's done a phenomenal job coaching on the field, phenomenal job recruiting, and I think that pairs well together as you kind of go forward with this whole thing.
All right, let's take a timeout, move for time pretty quickly here because we're going to have a longer segment coming up. Our SEC Power Rankings every single Wednesday at 2:30. Jeremy had A&M at 13 to 14 last week. We'll see what he's got him at next. That's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
barbecue guys.
It's Wednesday, and Jimmy Ott is live from Snow's Seafood and Steaks for Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. Join him to talk football from the previous and upcoming week. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday on ESPN 104.5 Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's get into it. Our SEC tiers. I went first last week, or SEC Power Rankings. I went first last week. I'll allow you to give us your first four. I doubt they've changed too significantly, although I guess they could have.
Yes. So, number one, I got the Alabama Crimson Tide, who is averaging 46 points a game, and I did that because I just think they have the better quarterback between them and Georgia. I'm going to go with Bryce Young over Stetson Sequavius. So, I got Bama at 1. 2, I got Georgia. Stetson's having an amazing season, 952.
Did you see what Georgia did last weekend?
Against South Carolina. Yeah.
What did Alabama do?
Like I just said, I like Bryce over Stetson.
All right.
That's like I just said. All right. 952 yards for my boy Stetson through 3 games. That's very impressive. So I got those guys at 2. 3, I got the hype show. I got the Hype show. Tennessee at 3. They're averaging 553 yards a game right now. Yeah, you don't want to see that offense any given Saturday. And 4, I got the Kentucky Wildcats, and I got those guys because of the intake of mayo and coffee from my boy Will Levis. So I got Kentucky at 4.
All right, I got Georgia at 1. They've beat 3 teams 130-10. That's not exactly cream puffs. They played Oregon and South Carolina as well, and that South Carolina game was on the road. 130-10 is pretty good. Alabama's second. They got some issues at wide receiver. Trayshawn Holden is their leading receiver. He's 16th in the SEC in receiving yards. Their second leading receiver is Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back. So they got to find some guys to make some plays. I know they got some guys coming back from injury. We'll see what JoJo Earl can do. They're not whole yet, but they got to find some guys to make some plays down the field. At 3, I've got Arkansas. They stunk on Saturday, but I'm going to give them a pass. They had 2 nice wins to begin the season. They got a huge game coming up this weekend. Rocket Sanders leads the league in rushing, and Drew Sanders on defense has totally changed the way they look. I mean, Bumper Pool was great, and they had Grant Morgan last year. But Sanders is a freak athlete, and he's knocking guys out in the secondary, chasing down guys in the backfield. Both Sanders looking good for the Hogs. Number 4, I got Kentucky. They got one more out-of-conference game with Northern Illinois before they go to Oxford, and we see a little bit more. But nice win in the Swamp. A little bit of a pedigree play here because they've been good the last couple of years. I'll go with Kentucky at number 4.
Okay, not too mad at that one. All right, number 5, I got Arkansas. Like you said with Sanders, KJ Jefferson and Sanders are combined for 649 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns already. Yeah. So they're running it down everyone's throat, and you're going to have to just deal with that. 6, woo, let's go, baby. Here we go, Tigers. Here we go.
Okay.
Got my Tigers up at 6, baby.
Where'd you have them after 1 week? Like 12?
After Florida State, I was not very happy, but I had to bump them up a little bit, man. You got to bump my Tigers.
Wait till they take out New Mexico on Saturday. My man will be sky high.
We may be top 5.
He'll go Georgia, Bama, LSU 3.
Yeah, we go. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, my boy Can't Guard Malik. Hunt and I have been trying to tell y'all, leading the team in receiving yards right now. 199 yards already through the season. So, yeah, I got my Tigers at 6. 7, I got Ole Miss. Their running back, Zach Evans, he's just a beast, man. The quarterback play, don't love it, but they're going to feed Evans all season long, and I think he's going to be a big part of that Ole Miss offense. And so, yeah, I got Ole Miss at 7. 8, I got Florida. 0 touchdown passes from my boy AR right now. Very alarming, but, they're ranked. They got the big win over Utah. So, yeah, I got Florida at 8.
All right, I'll start at 5. I've got Tennessee at 5. Hendon Hooker, 38 touchdowns and 3 picks at Tennessee. That's pretty salty. However, Tillman may be hurt. They got to have somebody else that needs to show up. Jalen Hyatt has done that early on. He leads the team in catches, yards, and touchdowns. We'll see if that's as good a 1-2 punch as they think. And at that point, when you can't focus most of things on Tillman, it could be trouble. How about the Rebs pitching a shutout last week? I got them at number 6. Georgia Tech stinks. We know this. But Ole Miss shut them out. And they're running the ball. We think of Lane holding the clipboard up with the hands, touchdown before the play snapped, throwing the ball deep at Alabama. They're running the ball this year because Zach Evans and Quinshon Judkins both are running for 6.5 yards per carry. Now, the competition hasn't been unbelievable, but we'll see moving forward. Their defense does look to be a little bit better. At number 7, I've got Texas A&M.
Oh my goodness!
Look, JD
my
PicKell
God.
may have picked at something that I didn't do enough looking at, and I've watched a lot of A&M the last 3 weeks, but their D to me seems really good. I mean, App State scored $1 billion on North Carolina, and they didn't do a ton on A&M other than run the football and control the clock. And Miami didn't score a touchdown. Now he said that they went up and down the field on A&M a little bit, but the defense still looks pretty good. They're 4th in the SEC in opposing yards per game, 2nd in the SEC in passing yards per game. I got A&M with Max Johnson, who makes them 1,000 times better than they would be with Haynes King at 7, and I've got LSU at 8.
Okay. All right, so we go 9 through 14 here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 9, I got Mississippi State, and to me, that offense needs to feed Ra Thomas. He's their best weapon. So many drops last week. I don't think Ra got enough touches. We saw the big touchdown reception. Got them at 9.
Are we overlooking the drops last week from Mississippi State? There were a lot.
Yes.
There were a lot of drops, and I
Yes.
want to give a lot of credit to Matt House. Like LSU played good defense. Scheme was good. They rushed the passer better than I thought. Got after Rodgers a little bit. Covered pretty well. Mississippi State did drop the ball a lot.
Yeah, they did. And Rodgers, either he was very inaccurate sometimes and throwing it away, or he was hitting guys right in the chest and they were dropping it. And some of those plays would have extended drives. So, yeah, you got to cut a break with that. But I think Ra should have got a lot more touches. 10, you're going to love this one. The Doors. They hit the win total.
What?
They hit the win total. The Doors.
Vanderbilt is better than Texas A&M.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. 11, I got the Aggies. Insert Max saved the season. Yeah.
Lord,
Whatever.
Lord.
Aggies
Bless
at 11.
this child.
Aggies at 11. All right. South Carolina at 12. Rattler has 5 interceptions, and he's been sacked 9 times already through the season. Not very good when you get the Heisman candidate coming on campus.
I'm still stuck on number 10 with Vanderbilt. Holy moly.
13, Auburn's just not very good. They need a quarterback badly. They need good QB play. That was just embarrassing what happened to them at home against Penn State. And poor my boy Drinkwitz, man. Poor Eli. I never thought
Pour one out for Drink.
Oh, yeah, we got to pour out a drink for Drinkwitz, man. Look, I never thought they would be worse than the Doors and even worse than the Aggies. But you're just
They're not.
They're bad. They're 37% on third down, which is just atrocious. The Tigers are just terrible.
They're bad. They have a bad team. That is definitely true. All right, let me restore some order here to this. Number 9, I got Mississippi State. My anecdote on Mississippi State here is they are what they are. They got a solid defensive front, some average players in the secondary, a weak offensive line, a good system, a great quarterback, and some running backs who fit what they're trying to do. They're going to win some games. They're going to lose a lot of games. It just is. They're going to be that the entirety of Mike Leach's time. I think they're going to go between 6-6 and 8-4 the whole time. That's just and that's what they are. I got them at 9. 10th, I got Florida. This Florida defense has been okay. They're going to have to be better because they've got Jekyll and Hyde at quarterback, and that is a problem. You said they don't have a touchdown pass. That is true. But we'll see if this Florida defense can show some pride against Tennessee, because if they don't, they might get run. So we'll see. I got Billy Napier's crew at 10. At 11, these bottom 4 are bad. Florida's got a chance to get better on defense, for Richardson to play really well day in. The last 4 stink on ice. South Carolina's not good. I blew both bets on this show on the games at South Carolina, at Arkansas and home against Georgia, thinking that Beamer's got them coached up and they're going to play hard and Rattler's going to make some plays. No, they're not good. They're not ready to be good. Maybe in Beamer's time there, it ain't now. They're not good. They went and played those 2 good teams and they got totally outclassed in those games. They were down 21-9 at Arkansas, and Georgia left them as sawdust. So they're bad. Auburn's worse. This is a bad football team with terrible quarterback play, bad game planning. How in the world you give Tank Bigsby the ball 9 times in the biggest game of your season early on is beyond me. Their 2 quarterbacks are 59% in completion on the year with 2 touchdowns and 6 picks. And that's with Mercer and San Jose State in the rearview mirror.
Oh, goodness.
59%, 2 touchdowns and 6 picks. Again, with San Jose State and Mercer. I know Penn State, but come on. That's awful. They're bad. Missouri's Brady Cook leads them in rushing and passing. He's their quarterback, but he's not good at either one of them. He's not a good runner, and he's not a good passer. Drink, buddy, this is not great, and it's going to be a nice buyout check for you, but that's all I can help you with. And Vanderbilt's still 14. Yeah, they hit the win total. Until they beat Missouri, they're staying there unless they can beat South Carolina or, they're not winning this week because they're playing Bama. Look, their next 3 weeks, they're at Bama, home for Ole Miss, at Georgia. 2 of the next 3 weeks are at Bama, at Georgia. You think it's going to get better? They got a better chance of getting 17 guys hurt than they do of winning one of those games. So it's 14 for me.
It's crazy how much my love for the Doors have just raised so significantly in just a year's time, and my hate for the Aggies have just the exact opposite of that. But yeah, it's crazy how that goes. Well, it's Clark Lee, man. Come on, they get the total.
One of the great joys of my morning today was tuning into the SEC teleconference, and they went to Saban, and he's sitting at his desk. All these coaches are at their desk. They take this call. Most of them are on speakerphone, I think, and it's a pretty relaxed setting. It's a conference call, so it's not exactly a pressure cooker. And the Chuck Dunlap, who's the communications director, comes on. He goes, "All right, take some time to tell us about your game coming up with Vanderbilt." And Nick, who you've seen him very animated on the sideline. At times he gets that way. He's gotten real cranky with sports writers over the years. Gets emotional. His pulse on the conference call is 2 beats per minute. And he's sitting back there and he goes, "Yeah, well, Vanderbilt, I've just been incredibly impressed with them the first couple of weeks." And I'm just like, I tune into this and I got Nick Saban selling me Vanderbilt and how good they are. That's what I'm doing on a Wednesday morning. Look, I don't think this is a great investment of my time.
I mean, you saw BK do that delicate dance on Monday, and you got to do it.
He tried. He did it wrong. At least Saban got the coach's name right. Brian Kelly got the coach's name right. He just got which side of the ball he coaches wrong. Yeah, he's a great offensive mind, really well-respected play caller. BK coaches defense. Been coaching the secondary for a few years.
Oh, look, man. Look, you got to do it, man. You can't go out there getting too disrespectful with the Doors, man. You never – no, you do know. They're not doing it.
All right, I'll run through mine, Jeremy Will, again. I got Georgia #1, Bama 2, Arkansas 3, Kentucky 4. I got the Vols at 5, Ole Miss at 6, Texas A&M 7, LSU 8, Mississippi State 9, Florida 10, South Carolina 11, Auburn at 12, Missouri at 13, and the Vanderbilt Commodores at 14.
So unfortunately, we got to roll with the Tide at 1, Georgia at 2, Tennessee at 3, 4, Kentucky, 5, we got Arkansas, 6, our Fighting Tigers, 7, Ole Miss, 8, I had Florida, 9, Mississippi State, 10, the Doors, baby, they hit that total, 11, the Aggies, 12, South Carolina, 13, Auburn, 14, Drinkwitz in the crew.
I think anybody ran up to the window with that Vanderbilt over 2.5 ticket. I got it.
Dude, Hanny was losing his mind on Saturday. He's like, they hit the total. I'm like, they did hit the total.
That sounds like somebody who had the Doors in the win total. I've seen that before. I've seen old Hanny man after a ticket cashes. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. So that's our SEC Power Rankings. Bring them to you each and every Wednesday here on Hunt and Hill. When we come back, we'll do some Take It or Leave It. Close up shop, Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Proud to tell you about Reliable Roofing. Check them out at reliableroofingbr.com, on Instagram at Reliable Roofing LLC.
Yeah, so happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
Lionel Hayes, born in Baton Rouge, raised in Baton Rouge, owns his company in Baton Rouge. Not some company that's going to come in, try to fix some roofs for a hurricane, and leave. No, he's going to come. They're going to do a professional job on your roof, and with that job comes a 5-year labor warranty. You deserve the highest quality of shingles. You deserve the most options in terms of shingles. And you deserve a crew that's going to show up, and when they leave, it's going to look like they were never there. When you're thinking roofing, if you need an inspection, if you need a repair, if you need a replacement, Reliable Roofing can do it all. Check out the website for their before and after pictures at reliableroofingbr.com. Reliable Roofing and Construction at reliableroofingbr.com.
This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out neworleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm JD. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast.
The prep football season, and we get started at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic High and St. Thomas More kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Congrats to Grant Duce of Baton Rouge. Grant's our Week 3 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest. He wins a $50 Twin Peaks gift card, so don't forget to make your picks for Week 4 by 5 p.m. tomorrow. That's Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com. And I want to remind you that 104.5 ESPN and Acura of Baton Rouge ask for your support in helping us raise money for Folds of Honor, a nonprofit organization which provides families of fallen or disabled service members educational scholarships. To donate to this important cause, visit our website at 1045ESPN.com. This week, everyone who donates will be entered to win tickets to see 38 Special October 28th at the Raising Cane's River Center. Donate now at 1045ESPN.com from Acura of Baton Rouge and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. All right. We do it every single day to close out the show, except Friday when we make picks to close out the show. It's time for Take It or Leave It. Jeremy Hill.
All righty, here. After giving up a double-digit lead to the immortal Joe Flacco at home, the Cleveland Brown fan decided to throw a bottle at the owner, Jimmy Haslam. Are you taking or leaving? It is a great idea to throw a bottle at a billionaire.
Probably not. Jimmy's got some cameras in that stadium. I'm going to leave that. Probably not going to throw things at the ownership group. There have been Tennessee Vols that wanted to throw things at Jimmy Haslam because he's their biggest booster. And there have been some, coaches at Tennessee that wanted to throw bottles at Jimmy Haslam, but ultimately they get a check from him. But yeah, don't throw bottles at owners or really anyone for that matter. We were at the Saints game on Sunday, and we ordered a bottle of water, and they took the cap off and handed it to Alyssa, and she goes, "I can't have the cap," because she wanted to have her drink and the water, and they were like, "No, because adults act like children and throw the bottles, so we have to take the caps off so that the water will fall out of them when they throw them." So that's brilliant. Love my NFL games. That's incredible. North Carolina quarterback Drake May took a jab at NC State students, saying the only reason they go to that school, they can't get into North Carolina. Later, he would apologize on Twitter. Jabbing the Wolfpack student body, saying your school's better than theirs. Take it or leave it.
Well, I got to take that, man. Look, this doesn't make rivalries great, man. Taking a little jab at the other team. There's nothing stopping NC State from taking another jab at North Carolina. This is what makes sports great. We need the rivalries. We need the banner. We need the competition. Getting too soft nowadays. He just took a shot at you guys.
Guess
Send
what?
one back.
Some of the guys in that student body can't get in North Carolina, and they're at NC State. That's how schools work. Ever heard of a safety school? NC State? Wolfpack could be. Maybe it's your dream to go to NC State. Maybe they got one of the greatest departments in the country for some, major that I'm not even aware of. But North Carolina, really, really good school. A little bit better than North Carolina State. So that's how schooling works. If I apply to Harvard, which would have been a waste of everyone's time, still would have gone into LSU because can't get in. Just kind of the way things go. Do what you got to do, Drake. It's all good.
All right, here. The President's Cup is set to kick off on Thursday
baby.
with each of the 12 players on the USA team being ranked in the top 25 in the World Golf Rankings. Are you taking or leaving? The international team has no shot at all at taking down the USA.
Take it.
I'll take
It's going to get ugly. Highest U.S. world rank collective in any team competition ever. Their average world rank is 12. The international teams is about 47. It's going to be a bloodbath. You're going to see it tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be JT and Spieth out there, Xander and Cantlay out there. Finau's going to be out there lighting it up. It's just going to be a striped show out at Quail Hollow. And quite frankly, the international team stinks. Adam Scott's way past his prime. Matsuyama can't putt. Corey Connor stinks. None of these guys compete in majors anymore. They lost all their good players when Cam Smith and all those guys went to live and wanted to do what they got to do. So feel bad for Trevor Immelman and the gang, but the USA is going to roll them big time at Quail Hollow, and I'm fired up about it. I cannot wait. I don't have to fight over TV stuff because the wife's going to be out of town this weekend. So we're going to be watching some President's Cup in the Palmer House this weekend. We like that. Last one. After coming back from a 20-point deficit against the Las Vegas Raiders, Kyler Murray celebrated with Cardinals fans, where he was later slapped in the face by someone wearing Raiders gear. Slapping a quarterback on national television. Take it or leave it.
I mean, if there's any, I'm leaving this, by the way. If there's any fan base in the world that I would expect this from, it's the Raiders. I played one of my first games of my career there in the second season, and that fan base is the absolute most insane. Now, this was in Oakland, so I'm hoping there's not much turnover going to Vegas, but we can't be slapping quarterbacks, man. What are we doing? This is just crazy, man. You're on a million cameras everywhere. You're going to get banned for life. What are we doing, man? This is crazy. It's crazy.
I'm always amazed at what people believe themselves to be entitled to when they buy tickets to a game. And I'm a passionate fan, and I've yelled at officials in the PMAC before. I mean, I ran after, not after, but towards, so they could hear me more closely, a baseball official back in Maneri's first year when I was a freshman, because we hit a home run that they called foul, and there was a huge hubbub and to-do about it. It was against Kentucky, I remember. I'm not perfect, trust me. But, hitting people and throwing stuff at people, and some of this stuff blows my mind. Now, sometimes, NBA stars and whatever, maybe a little more sensitive than I think they should be in the position they're in. Who cares what the jackwagon in Section 134 says? What does it matter? You're the rich, famous NBA star. They're an idiot. So who cares? But, some of the stuff people do just blows me away. It really does.
Yeah, this was sad to see. And unfortunately, I was watching Lil Shannon, and he was actually blaming this on Kyler, which I thought was just asinine. Dude, you just came back from 20 points. You see some fans in some red jerseys. You're going to run up to it and celebrate with them. That doesn't mean that gives a guy an opportunity or the avenue to hit you or put his hands on you. Not Kyler's fault at all. If you watch the video, Kyler was super upset, which anyone would. Don't put your hands on me. That's just you don't go to a football game to put your hands on people. No. Just watch the game, go home, have fun. That's just crazy.
Don't throw things at people, especially heavy stuff. I'm not real keen on, hurling insults at people either. It's just not, or booing your own team. But
my goodness.
You're never going to fix what drunk sports fans are going to do, and they're everywhere. It's not. One of the things that cracks me up is when, that Auburn fan base is terrible, and LSU's the worst place you can ever. No, there's drunk morons at all the sports games. It's just a matter of whether or not you have any interaction with them or you don't. Now, I think there's probably more of that goes on in the outfield in Yankee Stadium than there is at
that was bad early in the season.
But I mean, look, Wrigley's the bleacher's supposed to be the most fun in the world. They had like a bunch of fights this year because people were just drunk and stupid. And that's what people do when they get drunk and stupid. But it is what it is. You're not going to fix that anytime soon in sports unless you bar fans from coming all together. In which case, they'll probably just get into a bar fight because that's just kind of the way things go when people get all hopped up on sports and beers. That'll do it for our Wednesday show here. Open with the SEC schedule release. JD PicKell from 1-3 Sports, always great. We had him in the first hour at 1:15. Talked a little college football coaching carousel at 1:30, and some Aaron Judge talk to end the first hour. Shea Dixon on recruiting, which we followed up on in the first part of hour number 2 in our SEC Power Rankings every single Wednesday. A lot of Saints and Panthers tomorrow. Sharif Aishat going to be with us from the Saints beat. Ellis Williams from the Panthers beat. Very much looking forward to that show moving forward. Jimmy Ott going to come at you 6 to 8 on Game Time. Matt Moscone about to drive you home on After Further Review. Have a wonderful Wednesday evening. We're back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's Hunt and Hill.